and welcome to the 2026 Annual Meeting of Shareholders of Source Energy Services Limited. Please note that this meeting is being recorded. Registered shareholders and proxy holders may submit questions via the Message tab at the top left of your screen by typing in your message, then clicking the send icon to the right of the message box. It is my pleasure to introduce the Chair of Source Energy Services, Mr. Chris Johnson. Mr. Johnson, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Paul. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Annual Meeting of the Shareholders of Source Energy Services Limited. My name is Chris Johnson. I'm the Chair of the Board of Directors. In accordance with Source's bylaws, I will preside as Chair of the meeting. Mrs. Natalie Trzewiska will act as Secretary of the meeting. Today's meeting is being held as a completely virtual meeting, which is being conducted by a live audio webcast. This format will provide all shareholders, regardless of geographic location, an equal opportunity to participate at the meeting and engage with directors of Source and management, as well as other shareholders. Registered shareholders received a control number on their proxy form, and shareholders who have validly appointed their own proxy holder to vote at this virtual meeting by following the proxy appointment process were given a control number by Odyssey Trust Company, Source's transfer agent. These control numbers will act as your login credentials for this meeting for voting purposes. The procedure for voting will be discussed shortly. All others attending as guests are able to listen but not able to submit questions or vote at this meeting. Today's meeting of shareholders is being held to consider and vote on those specific matters set forth in the Management Information Circular previously mailed to the company shareholders of record as of March 24th, 2026. I now call the formal part of the meeting to order. In order to expedite the meeting, I have asked certain shareholders to make certain motions at appropriate times. This is not intended to preclude shareholders' discussion, but only to assist in the progress of the meeting. I welcome questions or comments from shareholders at any time. I appoint Paul Bernard, a representative of Odyssey Trust Company, to act as scrutineer of the meeting. I have received a declaration as to the distribution of notice of the meeting together with the Management Information Circular and proxy form to all registered shareholders of record as of the close of business on the record date of the meeting. This declaration will be filed with the minutes of the meeting. I have received a report of the scrutineer, which indicates that we have a quorum for the meeting. I hereby adopt the report of the scrutineer and declare that this quorum of shareholders present at the meeting. Based on the scrutineer's report and quorum being present, I declare this meeting duly constituted for transaction of business. I direct that the scrutineer's report on attendance be annexed to the minutes of the meeting. We will conduct the votes on matters considered at the meeting by online ballot. As explained earlier, registered shareholders receive a control number on their proxy form, and shareholders who have validly appointed their own proxy holder to vote at this meeting, rather than voting in advance of this meeting by proxy, by following the proxy appointment process, were required to obtain a control number prior to the meeting from Odyssey Trust Company. These control numbers are required in order to vote at this meeting. If you do not receive a control number, you will not be able to vote at this meeting. You are only able to attend as a guest. Voting is open and will close when indicated by me at the end of the formal part of the meeting. Participants will see resolutions we will be voting on today, together with the voting options. Please cast your votes promptly. The polls remain open until the polls are closed. During this time, you can vote your shares. If you previously voted and are voting in the same shares today, your previous votes will be null and void. While the resolutions are brought forward, we will open up the meeting for discussion on the resolutions, which will be done by way of submitting online questions to the chair of the meeting. Participants can ask a question at any time during the meeting by selecting the chat bubble at the top of your screen, typing your question and submitting it. Please note that all questions are moderated before going to the chair in order to eliminate repeated questions and to ensure normal meeting protocol for appropriateness is applied. As your question may be similar in nature to that of another participant, please be aware that not all questions will be presented to the meeting in a more generic format. If you intend to submit a question, you are invited to do so now. Any questions that are unrelated to the motion before the meeting are out of order and will not be addressed by the chair. We will now proceed with the first item of business and present the annual financial statements of Source for the fiscal year ended December 31, 2025, not need to take action regarding the financial statements, and we will move on to the next item of business. The next item is to fix the number of directors of Source to be elected at the meeting. I ask Scott Melbourne for a motion that the number of directors to be elected at the meeting be fixed at 4.
I move that the number of directors to be elected at the meeting be fixed at 4.
May I please have someone second the motion?
I second the motion.
As previously mentioned, voting is open and will close when indicated. So, Paul or Cameron, I guess you would indicate that since I don't see that on the screen.
We're good. Polls remain open until all resolutions are finished.
All right. Okay, got it. The next item of business is election of directors. The proposed nominees are Chris Johnson, Jeff Belford, Scott Melbourne, Stephen Sharp. If elected, these individuals will hold office until the next annual meeting of shareholders or until their successors are duly elected or appointed. I ask Darren Newell for a motion that each of the proposed nominees be nominated for election as directors of Source.
I move that each of the proposed nominees be elected as directors of Source to hold office until the next annual meeting of shareholders or until they resign or their successors are duly elected or appointed.
May I please have someone second the nominations?
I second the nominations.
As previously mentioned, voting is open and will close when indicated. The next item of business is the appointment of the auditor of Source for the current year. I ask Scott Melbourne for a motion to appoint Ernst & Young LLP as auditor of Source.
I move that Ernst & Young LLP be appointed as auditor of Source and that their compensation as such be fixed by the board of directors.
May I please have someone second the motion?
I second the motion.
As previously mentioned, voting is open and will close when indicated. The resolutions are now open for discussion. I'll pause for a moment to allow the moderator to ask any questions that have been submitted. Otherwise, we'll move on to conclude this meeting.
Questions have been submitted.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the business of the meeting. I therefore declare the polls closed. Thank you for casting your votes. We'll give the scrutineer a further moment to complete their tabulation of votes cast and we'll report back momentarily.
Everything is passed, Chris. You're good to go.
Great. I confirm that the resolution to fix the number of directors at 4 has been approved and that those persons nominated are duly elected as directors of Source to hold office until the next annual meeting of shareholders or until they resign or their successors are duly elected or appointed. I confirm that Ernst & Young LLP has been appointed as the auditor of Source and that the board is authorized to fix the auditor's remuneration. If there's no further business, I'd like to call for a motion terminating the meeting.
I move that the meeting be terminated.
May I please have someone second the motion?
I second the motion.
Well, thank you all for attending today. I declare the meeting is terminated. If any shareholder or proxy holder is interested in the exact number of votes cast in respect to other matters beside this meeting, he or she may obtain particulars after the meeting from the secretary. The report on the voting results will be filed on SEDAR+